Hello! Welcome back to, is this part 9? I think it's part 9. What I keep doing at the end of every previous tutorial, so this is what we're going to do in the next tutorial, and then I get to the next tutorial and I realise, no, that's not what we're going to do at all, we're going to do something completely different. What we're going to do in this tutorial is make and add a texture to a building, and we might as well do one that we made together, which will be this one. That's you'll do nicely. So first off, let's select everything, because we've got a couple of window frames there as well, haven't we? So make sure you've selected everything that's a part of that building, and then press either / or /. Oh, cancel that. Then we need the sun as well in our solo, so find your sun. It's usually in collection, but we've got quite a lot of stuff. We could organise this. I should organise this, but I never do. So control click the sun. So we've selected all of these and we control click the sun, and then press / or /. And because we've got the sun soloed as well, it's framed them both, but we only want to see it up here. So I'm going to control middle mouse wheel in. So we need a dodgy or wobbly brick texture, I suppose. So let's go into viewport render, and let's pick a nice bright side. You'll do. Excuse me. So, and I should probably put that on so we can see. Select this house tower. Click new or new. Is it doing my? No, it's not. Why? Who needs to know how many times am I rolling my mouse wheel? I thought I'd turn that off. Gutted. Never mind. So, in fact, yeah, let's, just because that's there, I'm going to have a bit more room in the shader editor, because that's what we're focusing. In fact, I'm going to go over to modeling, because I only have one window, and then in Blender, if you click in the corner of one of these, you can drag up another one, and that's what you can do. That's a little tip, but we're not going to do that. We're going to stick with this, because I want it vertically. Okay, so first of all, Shift A, texture, brick texture, and then Shift A, input texture coordinate. I'll explain these in a sec. And Shift A, color or converter, color ramp. That's where we're going to start, and I'll explain what's going on here. I know if you're not a complete beginner and you've been here, you might be able to just skip a bit, but for people who are absolutely brand new, I'll explain what we're doing with each of these. So the texture coordinate node, this is going to be a long tutorial, by the way, this episode. I'd rather not split it up, so bear with me. This is basically telling how to map the texture on this object. So I'll show you what happens if, let's just go for now with object. So it's gonna, this means it doesn't need UV unwrapping, it's just going to project it based on the object. And then plug that into the color ramp, and we're into the color ramp because we're going to need to control, well, we'll see when we get there, into the principal BSDF. And because this is based on the shape of the object, when we made this, we stretched it right up on the y-axis or the z-axis, so we didn't apply the transforms. So the texture, this is actually bricks, but it's just stretched because that's what we did. Now, applying all transforms may fix this, but it may not. So for you, either Control A, or just do that, Control A, all transforms. Let's see, has that made any difference? No. Okay. So for this, object isn't going to work. We can check generated, but it's probably going to do the same thing. It's still stretched. So seeing as we're going to be basing this texture on the UVs, because we're going to unwrap everything, because that's just the easiest way to do it for this type of brick texture. So now we can see at least there's bricks, but it's still all over the place. So before we continue, we need to quickly unwrap this, and to do that, we select this object, tab into edit mode, press A to select all the faces, then press U, and then choose cube projection, because it's a cube. And now we can see straight away, it's nice, it's all gone nice. We don't need to do excuse me, much else right now. But we will be messing with the UVs a little later, just scaling, not moving them, just scaling them, that's it. Okay, so we've got the start of the brick texture. We want to make it less big, so let's take the scale up to 20. Yeah, that's nice. Alright. Okay, and a little trick here. I don't know if this is common knowledge, but it's a nice little trick, because we want we're going to add bump to this anyway, but I'd rather not have bump for these edges. I'd rather just if it was, because the point in the brick texture to get it to look the best is to displace, so it will displace every one of these bricks to make them look like real bricks. But that means you need a lot of subdivisions, or a subdivision surface set to like 6. But this way we don't need a subdivision surface, so it keeps the polys right down, but we still get a good look. Bearing in mind as well, these are going to be viewed from like here, so we don't need subdivisions. So all we do is we want to Shift A, vector displacement, drop that there, will do, and then drag that into height. Is that height? I'm a bit far. Yep. And then that into the displacement of the material output. And then, as you can see, we get a kind of bump. Where's best to how can I best display this? You can see, can't you? See, there you go. We've got a semi bump without using bump. It's just the displacement is like, okay, let's displace, and then the plane's like, no, I don't want to displace. I don't have the resolution. But we've got a nice little bump already, and we haven't used bump. We've used displacement. Okay, so now we need to make this look less boring. So to start, we want to mess up the coordinates of these. So this is the way I do it. Yes, okay, so Shift A, and we want a texture, a noise texture. Where are you? There, a noise texture. Shift A, converter math. Don't worry, we're not doing mathematics, because I am rubbish at mathematics. I wish I was better, because I like astrophysics. Okay, so, and we want this to use the same mapping as the brick texture. So we connect that into there, and then we connect the factor of that into, and factor is black and white data. If you look, if I control, remember you've got node wrangler at the beginning. If that's installed, control shift click, and we don't see a great deal because the scale is massive. Let me just make that bigger. There we go. Okay. That's our noise. I can't remember why I just did that. Why did I do that? Why was I trying to show you the noise texture? Never mind. I don't have notes on other screens or anything. I prefer when I'm doing this to just do it as I'm doing it, as in I find what I think about what I need and then try and work it out. So there will be problems, there will be issues, but we'll get there. I can't remember why I was showing you that. Okay, so now we will add, Shift A, and we want a converter, a combine XYZ, put that there. Shift A, converter, separate XYZ. And this kind of does what it says on the tin. Obviously this is a 3D piece of software, so the coordinates are all XYZ. And Alt right click with Node Wrangler, and it will just quickly connect them. We want to separate those axes. Not the Z's not important. We don't even need Z, but we'll keep it in anyway. Good practice. We just want to deal with left, right, up, down to deal with these very, very straight edges, very unnatural. So, and then let's connect that into there. Excuse me. And now we just need to add these noise coordinates to both X and Y, and we'll just group select them, Shift D, and then bring that down here, and take X into the top of that one, and this wants to be on add because we're adding the coordinates. Then drag this down to that one. Obviously it's an absolute state, that's fine. And we also need to connect the UV mapping into this one, and do the same thing with the Y. Put the Y in the top and the Y in the Y. Okay, and then we get this. That's it. Brick texture done. Of course not. We now need to drag the scale likely right down 0.08. I'll do the same on both. 0.08. There's a good way to deal with this so we don't have to keep doing, because we want these to be the same. So if you've got wires like this, if you shift and right click, it joins them up nicely. You can keep it clean. And I keep forgetting what the bloody hell I was doing. Okay, so yes, the noise textures are on a very low scale and not doing much at all. But we don't want to keep doing that. So if you, I'm trying to remember where is it, converter value. We're looking for input value. Excuse me. So both of these we set to 0.08. So if we set the value to 0.08, this, and connect them to both scales, this one input will control both of these. So when we're fiddling, we can do them both at the same time. But we might want to edit the rest individually. Okay, so 0.08. Let's put the detail up. We can do that on both. Detail. And you can see what's starting to happen. We're starting to get a bit of wibbly wobbly. We're already not far off, but I would like a little bit of roughness in here. Maybe not that much. See what we're doing? I shift right click, by the way, when we're looking at very small values. So let's see, what's that one gonna do? Let's just see what it does when it's all the way up. Yep, don't want that. It's too squiggly. Nope, nope. Maybe. Yeah, that looks cool, right? Bit wobbly at the front, at the top there. We'll deal with that. Maybe that's. Let's turn the scale up. So I'm going to shift and drag. Maybe turn it down. Let's put 0.05. That's better. So it's just a bit wobbly, you know, just a little bit wobbly. Deal with those straight lines. That's better. Okay. What else do we need to do? We need to, I would prefer these bricks to be square. Square. So we want brick width to be the same as row height. So 0.5 on row height, and then we can bring the scale up. 35. Are they square? Yeah, they're pretty much square. Okay. But we're still not done. How long have we been going, Nick? Where's my bandy cam? 17 minutes. I told you it'd be a long one. Sorry. That's cool. Okay, so now we need to add a bit of dirty dust. Because when you add using ambient occlusion data, wherever geometry meets geometry will have a bit of dust, and it just gives it a bit of authenticity. So to do that, we want Shift A, Input, Ambient Occlusion. I'll show you what that one does straight away. Duplicate, Shift D, duplicate that color ramp because it's the same rather than going through it. No vector needed for that. Put the color in there, and then if we Control Shift click the color ramp and start to slide the black, you can see that around the edges now it's starting to darken up. You see that? Maybe we can put that on black and then invert it. Let's hang on, maybe I've put 0. Okay, let's just invert that. Let me just check if this works before I tell you what I'm doing. No, I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm looking for invert. I think it's in color. Color invert. And I don't need to do that. Never mind. Control Z, Control Z. Get rid of that. That should just stay on white. I don't know what I was thinking. That does exactly what I'm looking for. So you see with it excessive, It just adds a bit of a dirty, dusty frame, but we're gonna not have that much. We'll just have a little bit like this. Okay, and then in order to mix that, we only want the black data. We don't want any of this white, because this color ramp, it's displaying white and it's displaying black, but we don't want the white to display, just the dark. And to do that, we use multiply. So if you shift A, color mix RGB, just attach it to that one, that's fine. Then this is the mixer, turn it up to 1, and then in here, the blend mode, we have multiply. So as I say, it's going to take the black and ignore the white. It's going to pretend white is transparent. So now we connect this one into the bottom, so this is going to multiply over that, and then Control Shift click your principal BSDF, and then, oh, hang on, no, put that, connect that to that. There we go. See, we've got that bit of shadow, because if it's off, it's a bit dull. With it on, we get that shadow. You can make it harsher if you want. You know, you can really bring it up. But I think maybe B-spline might be better. B-spline is just, it smooths out these. That's better. I think maybe a bit more. Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's cool. Alright. Now we just need a little bit of colour. Although it is a very white thing anyway. So which one is dealing? This one here, because it's coming out of the brick texture, is dealing with these colours. So we can go into this one and maybe have that a bit browner. Let's just double check. We don't want pink. Bit of orange, bit of dark. And then maybe not have white for the bricks. Let's take it a bit down a little bit. Okay, and we've got this variation because that's what the brick texture does. If we go over to the brick texture, excuse me, we can change the colours here as well, but it's not going to, this is, you'll see what I mean. We can change this to darker colours, so we get even more variation in the bricks, you see. And it's because of, it's using this red for the dark shades, because we've gone straight out of that into a colour ramp. If we went straight into the principled, like this, we'd get black and white, because they're the colours, but we're going through this so it overrides the black and white. Control Z, that's okay, but we don't want that much red, so let's just make that less red, a less saturated colour. So I'm just going to drag the saturation down even more than that, and I think it's a bit too dark. I don't want that much variation in the bricks. That looks about nice. Yeah, that'll do. Alright. Okay, and now we just need to add like a colour effects on it. Excuse me. So Shift A, texture. Sorry, I'm too far. Texture, and then we want wave texture. And then we need to plug that into, or have its coordinates plugged into the UV. So back over here, plug that into the vector, and let's just bring that back up here. And we want another color ramp, so just Shift E, just copy this color ramp and just reset it. So put that back to there, and then put that back to ease, and then plug the wave texture into here so that we control the color from here. And let's just Control Shift click that, and we want to go, well, it depends what you want, but I want to go horizontally, so I'm going to choose Y, and then the point of this will become clear. I think actually no, in this instance we are going to go left to right. If we mix it straight in, you'll see what it does. And also if we give it a different colour than black, a bit dark red. Okay, so this again, we're going to multiply, because we only want to deal with the dark colours. We want the white to be transparent. So if we duplicate this RGB, it's already on multiply, lovely, and then put that in the bottom, and then Control Shift click your principled BSDF. So, and this is going to be a dusty thing. So first of all, we want lots of detail. 16 detail scale. I'm going to shift and drag that. Maybe detail roughness. Distortion. Yeah, a bit of distortion. Detail scale. Oh, that's better. So detail roughness. Let's just put it all the way up. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, and I guess I'm trying to have darker edges and cleaner in the middle. So we can do that, and we can move this band which we've created by the phase offset, just moving that. So again, I'm going to shift left click and probably, I don't know which way it's going to go. It's going that way. So as you can see, I'm trying to frame it. I could probably do with a bigger scale, 1.4. And then if I zoom in, it might be a bit clearer. And now I'm just going to move that again with the phase to about, I suppose. And it, as you see, it gives it a bit of extra dust, which is what we want. And 24. Finally, we just want a bump to go over the top. So let's add Shift A, and we want a vector bump, and Shift A, texture, and then we want a Musgrave, and then again we always want to plug the UVs into the vector. So I've just gone from UV straight into the vector. Excuse me. And now color ramp. We need another color ramp, so let's just, I don't know, duplicate that one. That'll do. Put that back to ease, and then we want to stick that in there and Control Shift click this to realize how awful it looks. First of all, detail 16, put the dimension, which is how bitty it is, down to about 0.3, and now scale, we can ramp it up a bit. We just want a bit of, maybe not that, maybe more like that. Just your preference. There's no, it's not a definite art. And plug that into height, and plug that into so this is the principled. We want to plug the bump from the normal into the normal, and then if we Control Shift click this, we'll should see the results. Yeah, there we go. So we've got these patches excuse me, of roughness in certain spots, like, yeah, you can see. So again, we're far away, so it's not making a huge amount of difference, but yeah, that's that. And I'm just trying to think. 27. Oh, you know what, we'll call it quits there. We've got the brick texture that we need. It's kind of cool, all a bit wobbly. We're going to come back in the next one, and we're just going to finish this. So we're going to just do something for the roof. We'll use the same texture, duplicate it, and then just change a few settings to give it a roof-like appearance. And then we'll give a bit of colour to these deco, I like to call them. Alright, so yeah, it's kind of, it looks advanced, but it's logical. You'll figure it out, you know. But as long as you do exactly this, you will get the same results. Okay, I hope I've explained all that well enough. If not, as usual, leave comments and I'll get back to you. Alright, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!